what we want to see with the level of competition in play. That is the best way to decide. So come on in. Good times indeed. See you guys in there in the chat as always. Appreciate you being there. Hello, Zyler and Troy, Old Dad, all you guys. Regulars will be making their way on in. It's nice. It's like I'm a bartender. Everybody's bellying up. Come on in. Somebody brought that up the other night. We got to do another bellying up here soon. It's only been a year.
Maybe more.
It's been a minute.
I think we've got a lot of things to talk about then.
We do. We have a lot of things. We will. That's fine. I know this. I'm really excited. We do have some news for people that we can talk about in terms of content. And so next week, I think we're going to have a guest on the show and have an opportunity to start to kind of let people know there's Warchant is going to expand further, continue to do great things. So I'm excited about that as well. And I'll be a part of that with this particular show that we'll be doing. And it's another Seminole great joining the fold, Tom. So, I mean, I guess we'll wait until he's a guest, I suppose. It doesn't really matter. We could talk about it now. It doesn't really matter.
I look forward to the 4-hour show you do every day with Gene Deckerhoff as well.
I am not, but I ran into Gene at practice on Tuesday, and Gene wouldn't want to do a 4-hour show right now. He's enjoying retirement. Gene and I were exchanging books. We were talking about books that we're reading, and he gave me a series of books, and so I said, outstanding. It's historical, war in the Pacific there, and that aspect of World War II.
Deckerhoff is a World War II buff?
Yeah, he is. And we had a long conversation about it, me and Gene did, and he found out my love of history, and we were kind of going back and forth, and he said, well, I'm in the middle. I'm on the 3rd book in a 3-book series. If you'd like to read this. And I said, I'd love to. So so on Tuesday I saw him, but 2 weeks ago we had this discussion as well, and Gene sent me a text. It was the coolest thing. I got to admit, every now and then, it's the little things, Tom. It's the little things. As I was sitting out at my house on a Saturday evening, about 10 p.m., watching a documentary and sipping on a tall, cold beer, I got a text from Gene Deckerhoff at 10 p.m. on a Saturday reminding me of the series of books that he wanted me to tell him about. And we went back and forth with an exchange. And I said, I should take a picture of this exchange and send it to my father. Just be like, Dad, this is how you know your son's made it. I'm just nighttime texting with Deckerhoff about books.
Look, Gene, I'm not going to read it, but I will pay whatever the rate is for you to read it, and then I will listen to it as an audiobook as I drive on my many ventures. Please tell me about the Pacific with your voice. Would love it.
I'm going to read it. I've already ordered it, and so he sent me a link. We're all good to go.
Winter of 43 was especially brutal.
Not in the Pacific, it was. So
you wouldn't believe it. Unseasonably.
You wouldn't believe it. You're right. I would have countered, Gene, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Oh, my goodness. That'll be good. So, all of that said, another great thing about going to practice is you routinely running into people like Gene Deckerhoff, like former players. A couple weeks ago, I was able to give Kez a big hug. Haven't seen Kez McCorvey in a while. Always good to see him as well. And it reminds me, a lot of these things remind me that I'm old. Because I'll see players that I either watched while I was in school or even before I was in school, like when I was in high school or middle school. And my dad would take me to games, and I'll see those guys on campus, and I'll be like, oh, man, there's so-and-so, and I get all excited. And then I think, man, he was a junior in 1985. Holy moly. He's old. And then ... Wait, I'm old. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you I did that exercise myself when you said the name Kez McCorvey, because the first event I ever worked in association with this here radio program was in 2009 at a Moe's down the block.
Welcome to Moe's.
And Kez was the featured guest on site that day for that show.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
14 years ago, 2 months from now.
Well, another sign of it is, and he'll get a kick out of this as they get set to start their season 1 week from today. Well, I don't know if they play on that day, but Major League Baseball's opening day is 1 week from today, and we'll be at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill doing the Jeff Cameron show and taking in opening day. But yeah, I remember David Ross coming into one of my remotes, sitting down and talking to me about baseball when he was a very, very young player with the Dodgers. And now he's an old manager with the Cubs. And a lot has transpired from that day to this day. It's pretty amazing when you think about it in that way. I remember when he was a rookie and was trying to try to learn the ropes and figure it all out.
LaDuca
Was, in fact, helpful in his quest to figure out Major League Baseball, Paul LaDuca. And that is the funny thing, by the way, when you talk to baseball players that went on to make, Dean Palmer is really good about opening up about his career. He'll answer anything. You can have fun conversations with him. But when you do that, one of the things that comes up is they'll tell you the guys that are helpful and those that view you as competition and kind of shield you away and do not help. I hate that. I hate when I hear stories like that, but they're always interesting. But yeah, Paul LaDuca was really integral in helping him.
He was a really good player, too. One of the better two-hole hitters I've seen, because even though he was slow as molasses, you wouldn't think he'd bat a catcher second. He had such a good understanding of how to get his bat through the strike zone and over the plate that he could hit a ball to the right side if you let off with a double. Or he would also take 2 strikes for you to have an opportunity to steal. Those little nuances of the game. Not typical of a catcher to think contact and things like that, but he was very good at that particular part.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought. At the end of LaDuca's career, he was annoying because he just wasn't very good and he didn't have any power. So you're kind of like, yeah, you're kind of a waste of a catcher. but you're right. There was that little 10-year window where he was I say little. Good God, imagine being good in Major League Baseball for a decade. That doesn't suck.
Yeah, I think the way to be humble about it after you're done is I had a nice little 10-year window.
I had a nice little 10-year run in the majors. Little 10-year run in the majors. I've told you the story of my neighbor when I was a kid. His granddad had played in the majors for 4 years with the Tigers. I can't remember his name now. I got to think of this. But he would come over to their house to visit every now and again. He was ancient. Wait a minute. So you played? He's like, that's right. Yeah.
Was it Grover Cleveland Alexander?
It was not.
Huh?
But he was funny. He was always great. He would talk about, oh yeah, well I played against the Mick, and all these guys,
Doubleday,
Mickey Mantle, and all the Admiral, making this new game up. It's gonna be fun. So I joined in. Next thing I knew, I was on the train. Florida State plays. Not a real game, but there will be, I think, the feeling I get today, a practice that is rooted in the fundamentals. So I'm rooting for something other than that, but let's not forget Saturday is the scrimmage.
I hear you, but I think that there will be a ramp-up effect given the way that Mike Norvell was willing to speak after Tuesday's practice, which was they got to be better. They got to be faster. I would think that the tolerance policy will be closer to 0 if there's lollygagging out there on a Thursday. So that might get maybe some advanced stuff. That'd be good.
I hope so. I listen, again, they're in pads, so we're going to get to watch a ton, but of interesting matchups, and the physicality involved in that tells you something every time. We know that when you have 2 big offensive and defensive linemen, we get all that, but it is interesting to see how they handle practice right before a scrimmage, because I would think that this upcoming scrimmage could be very physical if they wanted it to be. And the guys are going to be pretty fresh, and you're gonna wane it a little as you go along. You can get after it here, and let's see who's swimming from the new guys and who's ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating to see, because you could argue coming off of spring break, you got your acclimation full padded practice on Tuesday. You could still ramp up today and be fresh enough for Saturday. That shouldn't be too big of a deal. When you get into the season itself, you're coming off of a fall camp. Thursdays are a dial back day ahead of a Saturday, but also you're practicing every day. You go in Sunday for your meetings and the cleanup on whatever went wrong on your game day. But then by Wednesday, Thursday, you're going back to back to back days. It's just this staggered on again, off again thing. I wonder how much they can go today. I can't wait to see it. It's been nearly 2 weeks since I've seen us practice, so this will be a good day to be out there.
Yeah. When you first get back out there, well, I'll tell you what, Tuesday was a lot of fun. The defense played well. A lot of the young guys made plays. The weather was perfect. I mean, everything about Tuesday was a lot of fun just because, again, I think they were eager to get back after it. The coaches were going to challenge them. The defense did a lot, played very well. But there was still some highlights here and there for the offense, enough to keep. I will say this about where this group is at. And again, when you are a little more finely tuned and you have better players across the board on both sides of the ball, the days of, hey, the defense is going to dominate for 2.5 weeks, and there'll be no moments by which you can see progress for the offense because defense is ahead of offense always when we get into these practices. The days of that, I think, are pretty well gone. A Jordan Travis-led offense with this amount of veterans and talent and depth on the offensive line, running back room, wide receiver room, now the added talent to the tight end room, the infusion of real talent in the tight end room, and the different ways that you can attack a defense and how multiple you can be. The days of them having prolonged, stagnant efforts are gone. They're not going to happen. The offense is going to have some success even on days where we highlight the defense as the victor. You put Jordan Travis under center and let him throw the football to these weapons. I'm sorry, I don't care how good this defense is going to be or maybe how much better they're going to be. We certainly hope so. They're not going to dominate the offense. It's just not going to happen. Jordan's too savvy with this offense. He's always cool, calm, and collected when you watch these practices. He knows where to go with the football based on the looks. You're not going to confuse him. And in addition to not being able to confuse him, his offensive line isn't going to get throttled in the way that it used to where the play breaks down inside of a second. I mean, these guys are going to hold their own, even going against Darrell Jackson, even going, you know what I mean? They're going to have enough plays where they at least it's neutral, where nobody really wins, and he's able to make some plays.
Yeah, what it sounded like with the observations on Tuesday, you did the video, the Warchant wrap with Ira, and then Corey wrote observations for the site on warchant.com, that the offense had a lot of plays that were available to them, but drops got the better of quite a few moments where Jordan does everything right or a different quarterback does everything right. And maybe if you hit on 3 or 4 of those plays, you grade it out a little bit different instead of saying defense dominant, defense own the day. But to your point, Jordan is putting some of these guys in positions to be successful. I know Johnny had a couple, Toafili had one as well. But that's right. He is making those decisions. And we don't bring him up, at least I haven't a ton, after 1 week of practice. Because much like what you said about Jared Verse yesterday, which is we assume that.
You just assume he's going to be good.
It's not news if he's good. Jordan has been quite good and quite sharp from what I've seen so far. I look forward to seeing that again today.
Yeah, and I also think that where you're, I mean, I don't know that I'll be looking more forward to any matchup more than the rotation on the interior of the offensive line and the rotation on the interior of the defensive line. You got basically 3 spots where you're constantly going to be watching intense violence. And technique has to win because everybody in those battles, well, they're all big and they're all really, really strong. And so, when you see, and most people know this, but it's just fun to kind of refamiliarize yourself with these kinds of concepts, these things. When you watch an NFL game or a big-time college football game, and you see a defender bull rush an offensive lineman, and he gets planted, and he falls on his back. He's literally just pushed back into the backfield, and it's a play-ending indictment of the physical mismatch that occurred in that moment. One of the things that you always realize is, well, it's not because that guy's not strong enough. It's not because that guy's not too small. It's that he made a mistake in his technique because he's a mauler. He's 340 pounds. He didn't just get pushed over because that guy's just too strong for him. That rarely happens. It's because he lost leverage. He didn't sink. He didn't place his hands in the right place. He didn't, his step was wrong. And then those guys are so good that the second you screw it up, oh, that's your ass. Because I know my counter now, and your weight's not distributed evenly. And here we go. I'm going to take you for a ride. That's fun to me because it makes you become a technician. The same's true with these pancakes. When you watch an offensive lineman do this to a defensive lineman, it's not because the offensive lineman is just overwhelmingly strong by way of comparison to, say, Fabian. It's that he got lower, he got his hands in on you, and now, man, that's a big, strong dude. He's got leverage. You're going to lose.
Well, it's fun to watch the journey that those guys go on each day in practice as well, separately, when they're getting coached by Odell Hagens and Alex Atkins, respectively, and the assistants that go along with that. but it's just they converge after there's brutal moments of instruction where you're going, this is beyond honesty. Sometimes this is just you wouldn't play for this guy unless you trusted him implicitly that he means well. But with the defenders, you see the sled that they're on, and it's that cruel, like something out of 50 years ago. It's just I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a broken bobsled, like the bottom of it. And Odell is always talking about getting lower and doing what you've got to do. And he will have a kid stay on that because there's only one of them. There's only one of them. He'll have a defensive interior lineman stay on that thing for 3 minutes at a time if they don't have the right technique, and it just gets uncomfortable.
It's exhausting.
And on the other side of it, you've got the standard sleds that the offensive line work on.
And you also have the one,
But then there's the conceptual stuff that Alex Atkins does, and he talks about where, maybe scout team will come over and show some angles of approach and where you need to be, your first step, where your arm goes. And Atkins in the same way. If the lineman doesn't get it right on the offensive side, we'll do it over, and we'll do it over, and we'll do it over. And everybody's waiting. They're waiting on one kid. And they go through all that torture, and then it's time to go heads up, and you see them apply it. It's a fun ride to go on each day.
Comparing and contrasting healthy environments in college football, healthy athletic departments, healthy football programs. I'll do it next. It pertains to Florida State and a former coach at Florida State. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Injured? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick, professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
Hey everybody, the perfect fireplace makes your house a home. How's your fireplace looking? Not too well? Hearth and Patio can help you with that. Actually, Hearth and Patio can help you with anything fire. Give my friends a call at Hearth and Patio. If you need new fireplace upgrade, fireplace repair, you need custom outdoor kitchen, grills, or an amazing fireplace for your backyard. 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or you can visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth Patio Tallahassee. They keep the home fires burning.
Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at ffbic.com.
This is Rusty Hunt with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me today at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Bear No Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere.
Save big time in the new year and get $1,200 off select new units.
Online at BearNoAC.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
If Real Talk was a paycheck, you'd be getting a huge raise. More Real Talk right now on 93.3. We know you're glued to your phone, so follow us on Facebook at Real Talk 93. Give us a like, and you're going to love it. You're listening to Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
About expectations for Florida State, and they're mighty high. They're sky high. I don't know. The sample size of people that I've talked to regarding what we think Florida State can be this year and how far they've come seems to suggest that this fan base, for the most part, believes that they're in such a good place physically and an upgrade from a talent standpoint, but also a healthy and respectful place internally there within the coaching staff and athletic department, that sky's the limit. College football playoff berth, et cetera, seems to be kind of the way that a lot of people are looking at what this season could be. Now, that's a different discussion. Like, those are the levels that of success that are reasonable to expect this upcoming season. That's debatable. That's something that we can debate. Everybody's got an opinion on that based on what they saw last year in the uptick in talent and the influx of guys on the too deep with the offensive defensive line for sure. And then, as I mentioned before, tight end, you understand why the enthusiasm's there. But the other thing is, I think that, you saw a lot of converts at the end of last year, a lot of people who were unsure of the head coach, a lot of people that, hey, listen, everybody may like Mike. He may say all the right things. His enthusiasm is infectious. All of that may very well be the way that the fans looked at it. But at the end of the day, this is a cut and dry, easy to decipher business. You win or you lose. You win or you lose. And if you lose a lot, it doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't really matter what we think of you as a person. You're not winning games at some point. The love affair wears off pretty quickly, and people begin to discuss openly about maybe needing to move on. So last year's successes led to a very different expectation for this season, and it also allowed people who were uncertain, who were maybe on the fence, to then embrace those qualities that you do care about when it leads to success. The openness that Mike Norvell has as a policy for the media and a willingness to allow us to observe, but then again, that provides context for the fan base, right? We can tell you directly what's happening with the program, and that also leads to a more favorable feeling about the methodologies. So what happens is people go, I like Mike Norvell, but man, he's not winning games. So I don't care that the media is telling me how great he is about the access and how open he is with what they're trying to accomplish and, his willingness to answer tough questions or any of those things. He's got to win games. Well, then all of a sudden when he does win games, people are like, man, you know what's cool is that the media that, I rely on that covers this team has been telling me for a while that not only will they be good, but this is a good guy who believes in the right things. And, I've seen that evidence in the videos. I've seen that with the information. I've seen that with the interviews. Now we're winning. Now I can believe it for real. This is a healthy place to be. Florida State's a place where players want to come, fans want to support and buy tickets and travel on the road, be a part of the game in Orlando or last year in New Orleans. It all comes together, right? The bigger picture all comes together. And I'm reminded of it while I watched yesterday's press conference with Texas A&M. And I'm not one of these people that hyper-focuses on what Jimbo Fisher's doing now. I know what he's doing now. He's not winning. He still seems broken. His answers to questions are similar to the questions that he answered here and the manner in which he answered them towards the end, where he was a much different guy, a very different guy than he was when he was here at the beginning, when the turnaround was working. And so I find it all fascinating because I won't delve deep and play the role of psychiatrist here, but it didn't take but 2 seconds for you to realize The same problems exist now that did at the end of last year. He had 3 months to figure out, Jimbo Fisher did, how am I going to answer the question as to why I brought a new offensive coordinator in? It's going to be the first question. When you bring in Bobby Petrino, isn't it going to be the first question after you give up your talking points about fundamentals, which is once again what he launched into, hand placement and all that other stuff, which all coaches do. So I don't fault him for that, but it's a way of saying nothing. And he does it. And then the first question is indeed about why you brought Bobby Petrino in. And inevitably it ends up with somebody questioning him about who's going to call the plays. And his dismissive answer about, well, it doesn't matter, everybody runs the same plays. It's just so disingenuous. Yes, a counter is a counter. A dig is a dig. I got it. You can say that, but man, the sequence with which they're called and the context of which they're called and how they fit into your offense and the tempo and everything else matters, or else everybody would do it really well. That's not how it works. And he wouldn't answer that very simple question for most of that press conference. And I just saw the same brokenness that I saw here. And I thought, man, this isn't about me prattling on about them, but rather where this program is at, how quickly it can all change, and how much more excited I am that in a relatively short period of time, that has taken place. Last year, I guess is what I'm getting at, was really important. Really, really important for all parties involved. The psyche of Florida State's faithful, the fan base as a whole in terms of the overall support in the program, investing in the program, showing up for the program. Now, it's not my job to get you to do that, nor do I look at it that way. It is beneficial to all parties involved if that's the case. My business benefits much like local restaurants do and hotels and everybody else when the football team is playing well. It's true. But I'm also not a spokesman for the university, nor do I want to be. So it's one of those things where you observe it, you see it, and you recognize, man, how important was last year. Man, it's a good thing they are healthy, that this worked, that this has moved to a place now where I think most believe that they're going to have, at the very least, yet another level of success than they had a year ago.
Yeah, you go to practice and you feel like what you're seeing is connected to the grand conversation of college football. It's going to have an impact on the big conversations that we haven't been a part of for some time. I remember the first year that we didn't make the playoff, and we haven't made it any years after that, in 2015. Remember the conversation that we had over at the CP? And I said, it is a big to do with the playoff. And 29 straight going to Pasadena, which has been amazing the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
If we have to take a year off, okay, no big deal. We have to take a year off. That is such heresy because we didn't sniff it after that. We have not sniffed the college football playoff. And we're finally back to a place where when I go over there, I feel like what I'm watching is relevant and going to be relevant to the playoff committee, to College Game Day, to any national talking head that you can bring up in regards to college football. We are now a part of that grand conversation, and it's great. The question that asked to Jimbo Fisher basically is not about who's calling the plays. It's how healthy is the offensive meeting room that you have currently? Because I don't think you'd hire Bobby Petrino on your own. Your answer, sir, it's not healthy. That's what that exchange was. We still don't have our ducks in a row. This is a mess. Whereas when you're looking here, the direction with the offense, it's Norvell Atkins. I mean, they're hand in hand, scheming these things up week to week.
Yeah.
The offensive line's development has been astounding. That room has flipped in 2 years. It's been great. It's just a breath of fresh air when you talk about the offense here and there. It's going to be a point of controversy until somebody leaves. I don't think we're going to envision a day in which Texas A&M has both Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Petrino walking off the field together, laughing and smiling because they just dropped 40 on another opponent. That's not the direction that thing's going.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas here, Atkins and Norvell could walk off the field together smiling an awful lot this year about the production they're about to put up.
It's something to behold because you recognize, I've said this a lot. Well, and I'll answer some folks' questions here. I saw, Scott, that you pointed this out. I know that you are a diehard Jimbo fan, and that's fine. He's broken and has been broken and has failed miserably at Texas A&M with elite talent. But he has won a national championship, and he won big here to the tune of 29 straight here. Gene Chizik won a national championship, Scott. He a good coach? You doing well? How'd that work out? It happens. There are plenty of coaches who haven't won a national championship that are better coaches than those that have. Period. It's happened. Happens all the time. Does Norvell need to keep winning to be seen in the pantheon of great coaches? Well, remember, Florida State's had very few coaches by way of comparison to other institutions. Yeah. No, it doesn't mean that just because Jimbo is failing over there and Mike Norvell now has a program that is seemingly moving without question in the right direction, that we stop having expectations or that we sit back and go, oh, there it is. No, because it's not about A&M. It's not about Jimbo. I'm just talking about healthy environments, healthy interactions, and expectations.
Well, all that's missing was facilities for him, and clearly now he's gotten the facilities. They haven't lost the game since he's moved on, right? It wasn't that the simplest form of the argument at the time that the breakup happened.
Well, there were a lot of things involved there, but yes, he once mentioned it.
The thing I'd say moving forward is it felt like, and I'm sure you would agree with me, with Kenny Dillingham on the other coast, coaching for Oregon last year, and Mike Norvell calling the plays this past season, that felt better. We felt more confident about the continuity of a game plan and how prepared Florida State was from an offensive standpoint. Was their personnel better? Yes, but it felt like the sequencing of the play calling just felt a little bit more up to standard of what we were looking for. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
It was an upgrade. And now, as we enter into this next season, again, personnel is getting better along with it, but you don't have a fear that there's going to be a game in which we just look like a discombobulated mess offensively. You don't think that there's that thing lurking around the corner? Because Coach Norvell, when it comes to game planning week in and week out, has been very impressive. I feel that way.
I also just think that listen, do I think Jimbo Fisher knows football? Absolutely. I know he does. I talked with him probably more than anybody at length, at least in the media.
Oh, he's a freak.
I mean, I've never questioned his acumen for the game. But what it does show you is when we talk about the health of a program, we talk about the ability to get the most out of that acumen, the most out of that knowledge. It's not just that you understand the X's and O's. Because I think all these guys do. I've said that a lot over the years. And as I got older, I began to learn that more. That the most failed and flawed coaches don't fail because they don't know football. The opposite is true typically. It's all the non-football stuff that doesn't allow that knowledge to be put to good use, or that was once put to good use begin to fail. You have to have a way of imparting that wisdom, that knowledge, and creating not only a relationship, but an understanding and a path towards players being able to execute it.
Confidence.
It creates confidence when your coach has that, not only knowledge, but the ability to impart it to you, but then teach it in a way in which you have an understanding without having to think. But that really involves trust. And at the end of it all, you cannot develop trust simply with the knowledge. You have to be able to teach it and trust the person who is providing it. And I don't, you have to be healthy. You have to be healthy in order to have that, to possess that. Like I have to feel good about me to be there for you. And again, I don't want to get all new agey or anything like that. That's just the simple truth, right?
Yeah.
You have to be in a healthy place in your life and in your belief, in your knowledge, and the things that you provide.
Speaking mentally, yeah, because Andy Reid ain't exactly,
No. I'm not talking about the physical health because you're eating properly. Although that certainly all of it adds up to the big puzzle, right? The picture, right?
Imagine if Andy Reid ate.
But but you have to be comfortable with who you are, and then you have to be able. Then you can provide something for somebody else. Because your ducks are in a row, because you have your life in order. If you're, a runaway addict or whatever, and you're not responsible to yourself and your family, you can't be responsible for anybody else. And I'm not saying Jimbo's an addict. My point is that there's a brokenness that still exists, and it's not gotten better. And you hear it in those answers. It's bizarre, and it kind of makes me sad. I'm not going to lose sleep over it because he was really bad to some people around here too. But I just, when I watch that, it makes me grateful for the situation we're in now. That's what I'm getting at. It's not, that's just a way of pointing out what's changed dramatically around here. He still has to win a bunch of games. Mike's got to go do great things.
Correct.
And I guarantee you, I don't care what kind of role model and what kind of work ethic and what kind of man that he is, if he goes 7-5 next year with the expectation that we're going to be an 11-win team, well, that's not good. We're going to have a problem. We'll criticize him for doing so.
Yeah, there was a question. I don't know that it was answered on Smash. Maybe it was on Monday night. But about now that he has better personnel, do you think that influences his decision-making at some points of games when it comes to fourth down math? You know, obviously the kicker last year influenced a lot of those choices, and so they were by default that you would go for it. But that's been something that has been inconsistent. I think that's fair to say, has been inconsistent over Coach Norvell's time here. Well, now that you're getting to a place where the margin is very thin in order to win a conference, make a playoff,
Win a championship, it's really thin, yeah.
And you've got better players, so there's fewer excuses. Like, things like that are going to come to the forefront this fall. I have no doubt about key moments and key situations and calls. We're going to get beyond the point of our yards per play is healthy and we're scoring a lot of points. We're going to get down to situations. And can he handle the heat of the moment in those games? Because there's 2 of them in the first 4.
Well, and it's interesting because as much as I have pointed out about the good that we're seeing and the flip in culture, that's 100% real. We see that every day. And it's exhilarating because it felt like the weight of the world going over there when we were at the end of Jimbo's era. That was tough, man. Everything was broken. His relationship with his bosses, his relationships with his coaches and the fans, the relationships with the players. And that in turn, you felt the weight in the athletic department. It was tough, man. I hated it. We'd go over there and you're just like, oh, it saps all the energy. Everybody's looking over their shoulder because everybody's angry and they don't know who to trust. They're not on the same page. You could feel it. And the thing was, you knew I'm allowed to leave. I don't have to be here after this practice is over. I don't have to be here after this press conference. I get to leave this place. Now imagine these guys work 16-hour days, 18-hour days. You're in there and you feel that all the time. It's downright bad for your health. So that has changed immensely. But it doesn't change that he's got to keep winning and that the expectations are way up here and the bar is high at Florida State. This is in Memphis, and he knows that. The way to handle that is to do what he's done, which is embrace it. Don't shy away from it. He'll tell you the Miami game is more important than the NC State game. He'll tell you that the Florida game is more important than the whatever game you want to name, in North Carolina, whatever. But, I mean, because it is. It is. They all add up to one win or one loss. But one means a little bit more and holds a little bit more weight than the other. So recognizing things for what they are is very important. Going from there. They got all that down. Now, this is, and we've talked about it a lot, and it's fun. This year is the first year where he has very high expectations put upon him by this fan base. Now, he's not a victim of his own success. We know that, right? I preach that a lot. Won 10 games last year. That leads to us wanting to win more. That's how that works.
Right.
You win 10, you need to win 11. You win 11, let's win them all.
Yeah, if you suck for 2 quarters on offense against LSU and it costs you the football game, I don't want to hear about the culture flip.
Nobody's going to want to hear about the culture flip. Nobody will, and that's understandable.
Yep.
We'll be talking about the football.
Now, last year, I still wouldn't like to hear it, but it would be reasonable to say, look, in 1 year, what are they doing? They're going to win 10 games. No more. If you're going to have a parade for that, you already had it to get to 10 wins. Now it's about, especially with this roster, if they had lost 15 starters out of their 22 on either side of the football, all right, then maybe there would be more of a nuance and a reasonable discussion about what is expected this year. But because so many of those guys return from a 10-win season, and because the schedule is quite doable, and the ACC is what it is without divisions any longer, I mean, this is a playoff or ACC championship or bust type of year. You pick which one, but you got to pick one of the 2 at minimum. ACC championship game or bust, or playoff or bust.
Oh, you got to get to the ACC championship.
Sure.
Because
I'm a playoff guy, but it implies the ACC championship.
But you get a do-over. I mean,
Right.
you can lose on the road to Clemson. In fact, you'll be an underdog on the road to Clemson in all likelihood. As we sit here today, that seems likely. You'll be an underdog. Doesn't mean that you'll lose the game. Just think likely you'll be an underdog.
Here's a fascinating question. What if you go 12-0? All right. Let's just say you do that, which means you beat LSU and Clemson by definition. Are you safe heading into the ACC championship game because of what you've done?
So like last year with the Big 12?
And the SEC every year? I wonder if you would have afforded yourself the opportunity to slip up on championship game weekend.
I don't feel like it. Maybe because of the win over LSU, but the rest of the schedule's not good. I don't know, man. I mean, you would need Florida to be good. You would need Miami to be good.
Because I guess the reason I say that is because you're saying you have a do-over. Do you actually, though, if you don't slip up either of the first two big games you play? Because if you lose the first Clemson game and you win the second one, you're going to the playoff, as assuming LSU is a victory. Because that's 12-1 ACC championship. You're going to the playoff. But what if you're 12-1 with a loss in Charlotte to Clemson? What does that do? Do you get that SEC treatment or Ohio State treatment?
The scenarios, huh? The scenarios that we can play out. It does get very, very fascinating to me. I think I was asked, would I take a 12-0 season for a shellacking in the playoffs? We were just asked that. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Because I don't think, would
that be 13-0, 12-1?
Well, you would be 13-0 because of the ACC championship. So I think this is implied. Would you take an undefeated season and then you get beat in the playoffs? And in this case, you don't just get beat, you get your ass beat. Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's a step forward. At that point, you've regained control of your league. You've wrestled it away from Clemson, who's owned it for too long now. And that is also a building block. That's a step forward. You are now at the top of this league, and I got it. It's not the SEC. It's not the Big Ten. But you still need to own the league you're in while you're in it. So you would be taking that step forward. And at that point, what that would do for recruiting, even a loss in the postseason, if you make the college football playoff, it's an upgrade. You're doing things.
If I could promise that to you right now, that's exactly what's going to happen, is that at minimum you're going to win the ACC, go to the playoff and get blown out. And 12-1 is the minimum. Might be 13-0. Or you can just let it ride. What would you do? Would you take the automatic, absolutely ACC champion, college football playoff participant and blown out and embarrassed in the semifinals, the semis? Or would you say, roll the dice, man? I like what we got. Come what may.
Let's answer it in a moment. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Florida's First Lady is focusing on mental health and resiliency in children by committing $21 million to a resiliency program. She says the program will help children to overcome adversity and get out of the victim mindset. Kids will learn skills like problem solving, critical thinking, perseverance, empathy, mentorship, and honesty. It will also incentivize volunteerism. The goal is to implement these new standards by 2024, pending board approval. Georgia lawmakers gave final passage Tuesday to a bill that would restrict vaping in public spaces. The Senate bill would regulate vaping in the same way the state already regulates smoking. The bill goes to Governor Brian Kemp for his signature or veto. A person who violates the law commits a misdemeanor and can be fined $100 to $500. In 2019, 42 cases of vaping-associated illnesses in Georgia were reported, including 6 deaths. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 82. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, lows around 57. Sunny skies and calm tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 84. Low 80s Saturday with a chance for scattered storms. Turning warmer Sunday with highs in the mid 80s. Chance for storms continues. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 79.
Florida, one of the lawsuit capitals of the world. There are more billboards in Florida encouraging you to sue than any country on earth. And guess what? It's costing all of us, to the tune of $5,000 a year per family. We are paying more on everything from food to insurance. Stop letting billboard trial lawyers win while consumers and local businesses lose. Urge the Florida Senate to support SB 236, sponsored by the Florida Chamber of Commerce, PAC.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears is what you're saying.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Answer it here very quickly. What was the question that you posited right before we went to break there?
All right. I'm the devil. I've come up from hell to cut you a deal or an offer.
What's the deal?
Here you go. You're guaranteed a playoff berth, an
Okay.
ACC championship.
Start this season, right?
Right here, right now. Just sign here.
Yeah, got to take it, right?
You got to take it. Or you could say, you go back to hell, devil, and I'm going to roll the dice because I think we've got a team that could do a little bit more than what you're going to guarantee me.
Well, the only thing more is to win the championship.
Or get to not get blown out.
I mean, you're already getting to the college football
championship
playoff
game.
You didn't say that the result.
The playoff result is a blowout.
Okay, so that's
it's embarrassing.
Okay, yeah.
You are being
so you gotta
embarrassed.
get like TCU just getting beat the hell down.
Mm-hmm. Yep, gonna happen, guaranteed. But you do win the ACC and you do make it to the playoff. This is your fate. You're locked in. Or let it ride.
It's a tough call because unequivocally, Florida State going to the college football playoff is a step forward in the growth of this program, the maturation of Mike Norvell as a coach, and what's possible moving forward. Guaranteed. It changes recruiting forever. Well, nothing's forever, but it changes recruiting for the foreseeable future. It changes the investment, whether it's the fans or the boosters or the Battles Inn or all of it, because there's more money for everybody. $65-7. I don't think TCU has been set back. TCU had no business being in the national championship game. Nobody would have predicted TCU was going to the national championship game. Nobody would have expected that they were headed to the college football playoff. I think they were preseason 6th in their own conference and sub 500.
You could say that a blowout sets you back, but is it a net gain or a net loss for that whole season for TCU? It's a net gain.
It's a huge net gain.
Yeah.
It's a game changer for TCU. Nobody thought of them as a team that would ever play for a national title. Nobody. Or highly unlikely. I mean, it's a huge gain. Now, it's not as big a gain for Florida State, holder of 3 national championships and multiple appearances, or more than multiple, obviously a ton of appearances in both the playoff and, playoffs not been around very long, but you know what I mean, in the BCS title games.
Is the answer that Darrell Jackson has single-handedly put you in a position to say, let it ride? You think that much of him?
Man, I like Darrell Jackson a lot. I think they're going to be good. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. That's tough. When you're immersed in a 65-7 beatdown the way TCU was, it doesn't feel good. Nothing feels good. You'd kind of like to not be in that moment having to wear that ass kicking. But, man, if I told TCU, now we're not TCU, but if I told TCU before the year, you're going to make the national championship game, and You may lose by 100.
But we don't get that far,
freaking
though.
Take it.
We don't get that far. It's in the semis, man.
I see you
We get
rolled your
rolled,
way into the
we get rolled out
semis.
the alley. We are rolled out the alley. Could be Michigan. Could be USC.
I don't care.
It'd be very hard to lose 65-7 to USC, but
or to Michigan. USC has a high-powered offense.
7 points.
Well, I agree, but they could score 65. I don't think
10
Michigan,
guys die on the first play?
Michigan's not scoring 65 against air. So they both are extreme examples.
Is there poison Powerade and like we're just dead?
All I know is, again, I'm removing my ego, the Florida State ego that we have. I know this is a program of championships.
Oh my
and
God,
of
you're going to
stature.
take the deal.
I think so. I think I'm going to take the deal.
It is with reluctance. I take your signature on this page.
We go undefeated. We win the ACC, and we're in the playoff. I mean, that's okay. Lopsided games happen, man. Hell, we were just having to talk about the 31-0 ass kicking. We were on the wrong end of number 1 versus number 2 against Miami. I mean, it happens sometimes. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Our partner, ISF Inc., is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Services, conferences to call away.
222-7722. Heating and cooling is the job we do.
Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. Florida license number CMC 050334.
Parker Services, conferences to call away. Parker Services, conferences to call away.
At Pinch A Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas, it's prime time hot tub season. And after a long, stressful day, there's nothing like soaking in a hot tub with all that steam. And it has lots of great health benefits, too. Pinch A Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas is your true hot tub headquarters. Save today on the hot tub of your dreams at prices you can afford. Come and shop our 12,000 square foot showroom and find the right model for you. With over 50 hot tubs in stock, you're sure to find the one that's just right. And for a limited time, take advantage of a free spa cover with purchase of your new hot tub. That's around a $400 value, completely free with your purchase. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch A Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come see us at 2473 Greer Road. Pick out your hot tub and enjoy your free cover. You'll be glad you did.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Day one in the books at the WGC. Dell Technologies match play. The Austin Country Club, Scotty Scheffler The favorite from 8-1 now to plus 650. Rory McIlroy's gone from 12-1 to 9-1. John Rahm lost his first match to Ricky Fowler. His odds have gone from 11-1 to 35-1. In the NHL today, the Tampa Bay Lightning, $1.45 road favorite at Ottawa, plus 125. The Lightning, 17-7-1 on the road this year. NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 today. Michigan State a 1.5 favorite over Kansas State at Madison Square Garden, 137.5 the total. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Find the top brands, inspiration, and great value you need to own your style now at Macy's VIP sale. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off spring trends and updates. Plus, get 15% off this season's go-to beauty, skincare, fragrances, and more. And don't miss out on limited time specials going on now at Macy's. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Scott for Scott's here. Do you hear that? Bring the mic in close. That's not how the grass should sound. There's weeds everywhere in this lawn. It's time to take action with Scott's Turf Builder Triple Action. It gets 3 jobs done at once. Kills weeds, prevents crabgrass, and feeds your lawn so it keeps growing strong. Ah, much better.
Get a bag of Scott's Triple Action today. It's guaranteed, or your money back.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
So let's say you're considering buying a new home in the current climate. We've all heard that demand is high, inventory is low. So how do you get a leg up on the rest of the buyers all making offers on the same house as you? Oh, that's a toughie. But the first place I'd suggest you start is with a call to my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with a complete pre-approval underwriting. This used to be an upgrade, but nowadays it's got to be standard. You want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need a TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten or even remove your financing contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is real and ready to go. It's tough out there these days, folks, so why not have the advantage of a proven winning team in your huddle? Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only Legendary Home Loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at widdenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's money out there. Let's go. Let's bet.
Man, A lot of people made a lot of coin on that first weekend. I did too.
Under, all unders.
But it wasn't at the level. I think it was Briley in the chat. Basically,
He went nuts. He went berserk.
Over 70% clip. I'll just go with the unit play, the standard, not the Lee Sterling units of confidence, but on the one unit play, I finished 12-fold up, which is good. But I wish I bet more, put it that way.
I've said it this year several times, and I'm not afraid to say it now. I have been reluctant to wager in the manner that I've grown comfortable with over the years for this particular tournament. I've been down on college basketball. I thought the sport sucked this year, just like Florida State's basketball team. And I thought that much of the level of play was boring and shoddy, like women's basketball. And so I didn't watch with the same amount of intensity that I typically do. But I love the tournament. And so the tournament creates drama, intrigue, but to bet properly, you will typically, I like to have been, pretty well educated on what I'm throwing around in terms of bets. Now, it's always a safe bet, as it was at the start of the tournament, that Tom Izzo and Michigan State will go far into the tournament and win a lot of games, because it's just what the hell they do. It's just what they do. That guy is, look at the numbers in his career, not just once they get into the tournament, but what he's done in the round of the Sweet 16, what he's done. I mean, it's insane. There's a guy that has a way of, any truncated tournament can produce really uneven results. We see it in baseball all the time, right? You see things like the truncated postseason in baseball often sees perhaps the best team in the country or one of the best teams in the country eliminated in the regional round. Because anybody can lose 2 games. It can happen. You just don't play well on a day and your back's against the wall and kids don't respond, and next thing you know, you're done. It doesn't undo the 50-something games you played during the regular season, but it certainly feels that way, and it's a disappointment. And a one-game one-off, we see it all the time in basketball as well. You can be the best team in the country. You could have lost 2 games, play poorly, team shoots the lights out from 3. Somebody goes 80% on a night. You lose, you're out of the tournament. Sucks. So it's awfully hard to avoid a disappointing finish if you're at any one place for a long period of time. If you've been the head coach at Duke or you've been the head coach wherever for a long period of time and you've got better players, well, you're going to put together better seasons than most. You're going to make the tournament most years. You're going to have plenty of conference titles. But there's going to be a tournament result that everybody looks back on and go, what happened? Remember when we were a 4 and we lost in the first round by 10 to Wichita State? Yeah, that kid couldn't miss, scored 46. Everybody has that. But when you think of Izzo and Michigan State, you're like, well, it doesn't happen. It never happens. I'm sure it has. He's been there 100 years. But those numbers are insane with him all the time. So at the beginning of every tournament, my point is I always just bet on Michigan State to at least make the Sweet 16. And they were a 7th seed, right? They were a 7th seed this year's tournament. They weren't even that good.
You did with Mr. Minardi, too, with Louisville
Yeah.
before he, messed it up for himself over there. It was just like, I don't care if they could be last 4 buys on Lenardi's thing. They're going to make the 16. It's just what they
every year. It was crazy. Yeah.
The only thing that about got Tom Izzo was the off the court issues in which he held a press conference in which he looked like he might die that instant.
I remember bringing it to everybody's attention as we came on the airwaves. Like, oh, let's look out for Mike. He has had some tough nights.
That was either 5 or 6 years ago now at this point.
That was the doctor that, yeah. K-State is the 3 seed against the 7th seed, 6:30 tonight. TBS, Michigan State. Well, here's a testament to what they think at the various sporting outlets in Las Vegas. They got Michigan State minus a 1.5 tonight as a 7th seed against the 3 seed. I like that Kansas State team, though. UConn and Arkansas. Arkansas obviously responsible for the big upset. Razorbacks are really good defensively. We already know that. They beat Illinois and Kansas. They are the 8th seed. Number 4 is UConn. I thought UConn has looked like the most complete team. They actually do go down low, by the way. They will feed the post. They do have balance. They are favored tonight, minus 3.5. Tennessee and Florida Atlantic. I don't know. Go Florida Atlantic. I know that, but
7.5. What's the number?
Oh, 5.5 for Tennessee. They're the
Ooh.
4 seed. Florida Atlantic as the 9 seed.
It's a 2-possession ball game.
UCLA is favored over Gonzaga by 2.5.
Ooh. Go Zags.
I'm picking Gonzaga, yeah.
Take out evil Mick Cronin.
Also, Drew Timme has played 17 years at Gonzaga. So, I mean, that kind of veteran experience in the post. And every time they show me that guy, I go, he's still in college? He's still playing in college.
I feel like Mick Cronin was one of the nationalists in Children of Men as they're going from place to place and there are security guards everywhere.
Yeah.
Mick Cronin looks like one of those dudes.
Evil. Those yeah.
Mick Cronin's got that.
Yeah.
Got that look.
Alabama, San Diego State tomorrow. We're all rooting as a nation for San Diego State, as you should be. Houston and Miami. We're all rooting as a nation for Houston, as you should be. I bet that's not true. Miami the 5 seed, Houston the 1 seed. Houston's favored by 7.5 in that game.
Ooh, all right. Robust.
Indiana fooled around and gave me hope the other night when I was watching that game against Miami. They came storming back late in the half, and then the start of the second half took the lead. They completed what was a 14-0 run, 12-0 run, whatever it was, and then I was kind of sleepy, Tom, so I was drifting in and out. I woke back up. Miami was up 10. What the hell happened here? Sorry-ass fraudulent Indiana.
Soft-ass Indiana is what I was told.
Creighton and Princeton. That's right. They're both still in it.
Ugh.
It's a 15 seed, Tom. Come on now. You got to be happy for Princeton.
Creighton and Princeton just sounds, I don't know, very country club. I wonder why.
The pick is Creighton there. Texas and Xavier. That's a great game. That's a 2 versus a 3. That's fun. Texas favored there.
If you and I got paired, it was a loaded tee sheet, and they said, hey, 2 great guys. Their first names are Creighton and Princeton. You'd be like, oh. I think we might just go out to the parking lot and take it on down the road.
Yeah, I think we probably would.
There's an opening on the tee sheet now.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I will have an opinion on all of those games in the Sweet 16 before the day is up. I can assure you of that. I will have an opinion on that. I got to check the golf. I think the WGC is going to go the way of the dodo now that we have elevated events. This may be the last of the WGCs. You're not going to be seeing these anymore.
Specifically, the match play, it sounds like, might get the axe, which sucks. I like the match play.
I do too. They're going to have to figure something out to infuse match play elsewhere in other formats some way, somehow. I like it too. Not a lot, just here and there. It is fun to watch.
Well, the problem is the last day. Nobody, like, that is just a commercial fest. It's like, all right, they're both off the tee, and we'll be right back.
It's just these two. That's all we got for you.
They both got 15-footers, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, it's tough.
While they walk from the first green to the second tee,
Let's
we'll be right
interview
back.
our sponsor. Yeah, it's frustrating. I do wonder for Florida State today. Well, it's not today really. My bigger thought on this is, and I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll know. We'll find out when the stats come out. But how much time does Jordan Travis get in this scrimmage on Saturday? Because, the groundwork has been laid repeatedly by Mike Norvell to let you know Jordan's not going to participate more than he has to. We know what we have in Jordan. The problem is you do have 2 brand new tight ends that you're trying to develop. You do have, obviously, working in new offensive linemen.
You got issues at receiver. I mean, it's fair to say that at this point, that beyond Johnny, there's a lot of proof that needs to be in the pudding for Jordan to understand where to go with a Winston Wright or a Kentron or a Darion Williamson. You got to learn those guys.
Yeah, and the counter to that is you don't have to know it now. You need to know it in the fall, and it's fundamentals. It's all those things. It's true, but I don't get the sense that they really want Jordan throwing much. He did have a stretch last year where he had a sore arm. In both of the last 2 camps, he's had that, where he had a sore arm. It's fairly normal. I mean, it's commonplace that guys get a sore arm when you come back. You see it in baseball all the time. Guys come back, they haven't been throwing as much. They start throwing, having to throw competitive throws.
Could that be our best pitcher last weekend? Getting scratched?
Yeah, well,
Saturday?
he hadn't been a starter before, and then he goes out and he pitches a lot. And he's really sore. They have to work him back into it. And he knows enough to know that the value of that young man is for the entirety of a season, not a one-off, as much as you would have liked to have won that series. You need Wyatt at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So
that was just an experiment that failed. And you could see the logic behind the experiment, but we thought we had more arms. And so we could use you multiple afternoons or one night and one afternoon on a weekend. And we're going to need you to start, Wyatt, because we don't have much. Thank you.
Wyatt is going to be fun to watch, though, as this year goes on, because he's a kid that I think has a whole lot of what for to him, and he's got stuff. So as he gets tougher, as he gets more endurance, and as he becomes capable of the wear and tear of a 90-pitch outing or a 100-pitch outing, the more, because that it's all here. He's tough up here. So the physical just has to come around, and he'll be good to go. They're going to win some series. It'll be all right. They may be sub 500 after this stretch, though. It's hard when you're in the midst of it, man, and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's tough. I think it's brutal. We're not used to it.
So should I expect today to be whipping the Bushnell? I bring the golf device.
I laugh that you bring your Bushnell out there. Yes.
Well, I don't want to drop $300 or $400 on a good set of regular binoculars if I'm going to use it for 12 practices.
Feels like binoculars should be antiquated by now. That we should have come up with something better than binoculars.
Just something you can hit on your glasses.
Just a little
enhance.
Yeah, it doesn't. It feels like binoculars. They're using binoculars in World War I. Let's get away from the binoculars. Like, what's over yonder, John? No, I want like something better.
So the rangefinder, which I'll have it's about 126 yards from the third baseline of Hauser to the back corner of the far practice field where they put the video screen.
Nice little wedge.
Yeah, choke down. It's a little downhill from the
little wedge.
Deck. Yeah. You're going to be going back and forth. They're going to be running drills on both fields. If
they were on Tuesday.
Okay.
Hey, they were getting it on. You're going to need the rangefinder today. You're going to have to get that back corner.
I love it.
By the way, we've largely moved. Obviously we're at a different place than we were during COVID. So you can be at practice and you can be down on the field, and we all go inside the indoor practice facility, all of that. I want that continued growth and openness to occur for the practice fields themselves. Hauser's fine, and I love standing up there because just from a aesthetics, it's beautiful, right? When you watch the sun going down as you're out there and the weather's nice, it's a beautiful thing. As far as getting a good look for analysis, I don't see why we're not allowed to be right there in the middle between the two practice fields, Coach. Just saying.
Boy.
Maybe those of us that are proven trustworthy over the years should have more access than those that haven't.
Define greed, Coach Norvell. Define it. You don't need to anymore. You just heard it.
I don't think it's greedy. I think it's fair-minded. It's reasonable. I know Jeff. I can trust him.
He's fair and balanced.
He's going to go down there, and I'll give him the straight dope. He's solid. I know on Monday when he returns to the airwaves and the masses tune in, I'm not going to be ambushed like I am with some other folks. That's how you get to be a 23-year talk show host.
Jeff, come over here. This is going to be our fourth play this weekend in the scrimmage. All right? Watch this.
I'm not asking for that, but that would be cool. It's hard not to be greedy when you've put on the headset. So Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose up to 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiestakeout.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. With Foodies Takeout and Delivery, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiestakeout.com.
Car accident? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows who Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. This is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas to put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
It's springtime in Tallahassee, and there's nothing better than soaking it all up in your very own hot tub from Swain Pools and Spas. Swain Pools and Spas is the home for Caldera and free flow spas in North Florida, and Swain has the right pricing and tub size options to fit any yard and any budget with quick and easy financing options. Swain even has hot tubs that can plug right into your existing electrical outlets, so there's no additional installs needed. Visit SwainPools.com. That's SwainPools.com.
And right next to Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee Car Care. Stop in today for everything from an oil change and brake repair and tires to alignments and transmission. Big or small, we do it all. It's Tallahassee Car Care, the only repair shop where you can take a dip while we repair your whip. Tallahassee Car Care, right next to Swain Pools and Spas.
Hi, this is Jamie McClenny from Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Managing downside risk in your portfolio is one of the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement. Trillions of dollars in stimulus from the Federal Reserve and D.C. politicians, combined with zero interest rates, have propped up financial markets since the financial crisis ended in 2009. The Fed recently ended quantitative easing and has started to raise interest rates at a time when the global economy was already slowing. Have you considered what another 50% correction in the stock market would do to your retirement plan? If you're concerned about where this all might be headed and would like to find out about the potential benefits of an active risk management strategy for your portfolio, give me a call at 850-900-5200 and schedule a time for a review of your portfolio from an active risk management perspective.
Make Jamie your first call for a second opinion. Investment advisory services are offered through Trek Financial, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Chair in the studio as I put my headsets on so that those of you watching on the YouTube feed get to see me have to catch the headsets and look foolish. It's great.
Quick hands, though.
Quick hands, but again, it's that panic that I talk about. That happens when you're getting older, when things start to fall. You just don't trust your reaction, so you do it really fast, which aids your endeavor, but it just looks crazy. Makes you look nuts.
It happened in the airport through security with my phone the other day, because every airport's different. It's like some of them, all I need is your driver's license. Some I need only the boarding pass. Some they want both. And so they wanted the boarding pass, which is on my phone. Slipped out of the hand, but then snatched it out of the air like that Corona corner pocket years ago.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was it. Oh,
we've both seen a couple of our great catches. We've had, usually it involves one of us catching a drink.
That's right. Yeah. The corner pocket one was special because it was one hand to the other. Usually it's the same hand that has committed the offense is the one that snatches the object that's falling. But this one was like straight out of a military movie where you just get underneath. And it was 3-4 inches from the ground.
It's impressive.
When you get that thumbs up, there's no better thumbs up in the world. It could be your father's approval, and it's still not as good as the person who sees you make a catch like that.
I made a catch at a party outdoors one time as I was walking down the steps, and it began as a nightmare. I misstepped from these steps going into the backyard. Now, admittedly, I had been enjoying the party. And I walked back. I thought there were 2 steps, but there were 3. It was kind of dark. And so I missed the last step.
Heroin, man. Unbelievable.
So as I was going, I could feel the fall was inevitable. This is keg beer, so it's an open cup. It's a solo cup, and I've got it. And it's full. I just filled it up. And I was going out back, talked to my buddy, stepped, and I felt those hedges coming on fast. Raised that cup in slow motion as I stared at them and went and sunk into those hedges where only the cup remained, Tom, above the hedge line. All I heard. You go from feeling foolish to well done, sir. Well done indeed. Managed to maintain.
If you could just have the voiceover from NFL films.
Oh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. It would be great.
Cameron twisted off the hedges, landed on his spine, but not a drop. Hit the unfrozen tundra of Tallahassee.
And then the camera pans to my buddy's hands up as the celebration begins. Yeah. That's fun watching people fall, but it's also fun watching people fall up steps. Up steps falls are underrated. Everybody has seen the down the steps fall,
man.
but the up the steps fall is very underrated
That
in terms of
is-
sheer joy of watching somebody fall.
The flip-flops and the up the stairs fall go hand in hand
Flippy-floppies.
because of the toe pick.
And
You
it
get-
gets you.
You get the toe pick.
And if you're holding books, you're gonna wear something. Either the chin, the forearm, something's going. You gotta get that hand up.
We've fallen up the same steps. The spiral staircase between Williams and Diffenbaugh.
Yes, I have fallen.
Yeah.
I think I did it more than once. Well, when you're late.
Yeah. Speech class.
Yeah,
Trying to get there.
Go, Let's go.
Had these old American
Woo!
Eagle flip-flops with the thong on them. You know, the toe. Those
The toe thong.
because it's pulling your toes apart.
I'll never wear them again. Why did we ever? Just the slides.
Slides,
you
man.
just need the slides.
The soccer players always knew because the soccer players had slides.
But also the kids, they get it right. They don't get it right often, but they get it right when it comes to the slides. They introduced a whole new era. The slides are the way. You should have never had the toe thong. It's uncomfortable.
It just sounds uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable.
Toe
It's
thong.
ridiculous. You're like, these are toe thongs? I don't like these. Give me some slides. I had the same pair of slides I bought in the Keys 22 years ago. They're the best slides of all time. I've had those slides for 22 years. It's impossible. Also, if you ever go to the Keys, guys, and many of you have been there, so you know of which I speak, but if you are walking around a lot in the Keys are a place where the rash is happening. You're going to be in trouble. You've got to protect yourself. Walking around.
What are we talking about?
We're not talking about that kind of thing, man. We're talking about, like, you've got to make sure the talcum powder, you're good to go. You got to.
It's like the waistline of your swimsuit.
Yeah, that and it's just it's humid and
the gold bond areas.
The gold bond areas. You got you got to make sure you travel accordingly. The Keys, especially. Nowhere else. The Keys will get you.
Key chafing.
It's a chafe capital of the world. It's weird. I've been to the Keys like 9 times, and 4 of those times I was like, God, dog, Keys have got me again.
Problem I have with the slides is when I go to a beach community, spend a few days, get the sand rubbing into the SPF that I got to, douse myself with. And then that gets in the lining of the slide. And that irritates the skin. It's a real problem. It's a catch-22. It's like, what do you do?
So I think we're going to get an answer today, guys. I know you've been waiting since Tuesday, so I bring it back up now because apparently Joshua Farmer is not the only one of that defensive segment group that has perfect teeth. And you can look at, if you go to Ira Schaffel's story, Trench Notes, Seminoles flexing with depth talent at defensive tackle. It's on warchant.com. Really fine website. You go to that website, you type that in, you look at that article, you'll see Joshua Farmer on the left in his perfect teeth. But look in the middle, Daryl Jackson. He too has perfect teeth. So there's something going on. We were right to observe this phenomena. And I think they're wearing something. I think they have some sort of thing, like an Invisalign or
Perhaps
whatever.
A veneer?
Is that what that is?
Could be.
I think it's a veneer. I don't know.
It works.
They're outstanding, but I think the entire defensive tackle room has decided we want the perfect teeth. We're going to at least show off that we have these perfect teeth. So you'll see it today when you're there. It is striking. I have not looked closely at Malcolm Ray. I've not looked closely at Dennis Briggs. I've not looked.
Director Matthews on it.
Is he? Yeah, look at that. So if you're watching in the chat, there it is. Look at those teeth. Perfect teeth. The envy of all who have teeth. Look at them. Those are perfect teeth. Now, the guy in the background, you can't see his teeth. He's not showcasing them. But if I had the teeth that Joshua Farmer has or Daryl Jackson, I'd wear those. I'd have that smile on my face at all times. Look at those teeth. Distracting to the offensive lineman, I'm sure. You couldn't help it. You just look at it and go, look at this. Look at these teeth. Right before you collide very violently and try to destroy one another, you'd be caught. Don't get caught watching the paint dry, as they say in Hoosiers. You'd be caught watching.
I like letting him win reps so I can see him smile.
Look at those teeth. They're amazing. Dude in the back needs to deal with battles in for those new teeth. I don't know if there's white teeth grills or what they are. Says I will buy one.
Yeah, I'd buy one.
A white teeth grill, especially almost just for fun. Like if you're like going out for the night, you wouldn't tell Jamie, I wouldn't tell Christy. We just smile at the dinner table. What's going on with
you?
Your
Look
teeth?
Wonderful tonight.
I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Look at these teeth.
Anytime there's a super chat that comes in, you just
put those on and smile. Yeah, ear to ear. I drink so much coffee that I would really benefit greatly from the veneers that these young men are apparently wearing. It's all part of the NIL deal. Dr. Birch, I'll ask her next time I'm in there.
I have so much Irish blood pumping through my veins that teeth don't go well with it. They just don't. We do the best we can.
I think your teeth are all right.
They're all right.
Yeah,
No, I mean, they're as far as they go, but they're not that. They're not that photo.
I don't think their teeth are that. That's what I'm saying. We'll get back to football momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
According to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection pollution notice released Tuesday evening, a force main break led to the release of 105,700 gallons of untreated wastewater Tuesday morning. The cause of the break was discovered when the pressure drop alarm was activated. When the crews arrived at TP Smith Water Reclamation Facility, it was determined that the break was caused by a tree that fell on a portion of exposed pipe. Crews shut down Pump Station 94 to make repairs. The untreated wastewater entered a drainage canal. As of Tuesday evening, crews began the cleanup process. Residents that were impacted by the incident have been notified. A man was injured in Thomasville after he says his girlfriend stabbed him. The incident happened early Friday morning around 2 a.m. at the Motor Inn. When police arrived, they found a man who said his girlfriend, Pearl Jones, stabbed him in his abdomen. After seeing the injury, officers arrested Jones and charged her with aggravated assault. She was then taken to the Thomas County Jail. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 82. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, lows around 57. Sunny skies and calm tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 84. Low 80s Saturday with a chance for scattered storms. Turning warmer Sunday with highs in the mid-80s. Chance for storms continues. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 82.
Florida, one of the lawsuit capitals of the world. There are more billboards in Florida encouraging you to sue than any country on earth. And guess what? It's costing all of us to the tune of $5,000 a year per family. We are paying more on everything from food to insurance. Stop letting billboard trial lawyers win while consumers and local businesses lose. Urge the Florida Senate to support SB 236, sponsored by the Florida Chamber of Commerce, PAC.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Asking for help in an op-ed in the New York Times. You see that?
For what? Too much money's going to the players?
Yeah, we don't know how to regulate it.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
You knew that was coming, didn't you? It's pretty funny, though, isn't it? I laughed, but it did get my attention back to the big picture stuff of when and if and all of those things that we wonder about regarding the ACC and Florida State's predicament, the league's predicament, but the ACC's predicament as well. And, I wonder, I wonder if all of the bluster from a few weeks back will lead to anything. And I'm not real sure that it will.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't see them acting in a way that will expedite what we want. I'm not in the mood. I will say this. I'm not in the mood to wait around. I mean, the inevitable disaster that is our set of circumstances in the ACC, that process has already begun. We don't see it on a day-to-day basis because the program's improving right now. But the atrophy that comes from not being able to eat from the same money trough has already begun. And you see it in sports like basketball, and you see it in baseball, college baseball. It will hit football sooner rather than later. So I'd like to get with the getting, is my point. We need to move on as quickly as possible, and the ways by which to do that need to be a little bit more bountiful than we want to leave.
I think that's just a signal, and you want to see how much crap you can stir up amongst the others.
But I'm not seeing it.
That's correct. Typically, these things take shape in the summer, one way or the other. I mean, you think about, we were at ACC kickoff a couple of years ago, and that's when the hammer was dropped about Texas and Oklahoma. The thing I'm interested, like what I said a month ago or 2 months ago now, where I feel like within the next 5 to 6 years, we're gone. That's once I saw the price tag on Oklahoma and Texas exiting the Big 12 1 year early. You just do the math on it, how much it would cost to do a settlement and that kind of stuff. We're going to have the coin to do it in about 5. I'd like it in the next couple of years. That'd be better.
I think, yeah, but I think we go to a bad place, man.
What's interesting to me, though, is you're seeing it with the RSNs at the professional level. We've talked about this a lot. Like when the Dodgers kept on signing record-breaking renewals for their RSN rights, their local television rights. And it comes out to some astronomical amount, like an 8-figure amount per game that it costs to broadcast Dodgers baseball. You're telling me that the ads in a 9-inning game equal
pay for that,
over,
right?
tens of millions of dollars. This is a bubble. This doesn't make any sense. At what point does the consumer on the college football side of the ledger, ESPN, Fox, stop paying cable rates? And do they have just an ESPN Plus or a Fox Sports Plus and things like that? And how does that affect the payouts to the universities? Of course, if you're in the Big Ten or the SEC, you're going to make the most money out of anybody. I wonder if there's just, it's a bad term economically, but if there's a recession, if there's a receding of the amount of money that will be doled out, or do people at some point say, you know what, for all these streaming services I'm told are cheaper, I'm paying more than I pay with cable in the first place. I'm going back to cable.
Yours truly has begun to figure that out.
It's going to be fascinating to see what the consumer does, though, because you know what? Cable's faster when you switch the damn channels. It's all in one place.
I know that's a big time bugaboo for you. You're tired of it. Well, I got to tell you, Tom, I'm a little frustrated too. I've thought about going back. I have, and I didn't want to, and I hesitated to make the move to begin with. Now we're on to a different subject altogether. But
it's all part and parcel to the grand conversation about what a network like a Fox or an ESPN can pay out and who they're paying it to.
This is the kind of thing that our friends at ISF could help you with, whether it's funding allocation and analysis, Tom, or technology, strategic assessment and planning.
Funding allocation and analysis. Absolutely.
That's right. The modernization of your technology, feasibility studies. These are all the kinds of things that ISF do when they work with the Department of Children and Families, or Department of Health, the Department of State, I should say. Department of Business and Professional Regulation, Customer Experience, Modernization Support. All of these things, Tom, let's do it here. Let's figure it out. How can we expedite and get the funding we need, much like these organizations, by improving our processes and doing an analysis with our friends at ISF. Let's go. I just, all jokes aside, and solving the future is what we do on Thursdays with our collaborators and good friends at ISF. I'm serious. I mean, we've got to collaborate with Clemson and a few others and figure out sooner rather than later something tangible that can be done to make this happen. And many people would argue that it can't. There is nothing. I don't believe that's true. There has to be something.
There's always a price.
There's always a number. This is the weird thing. The number can be on its face absurd. But is there a number?
Yeah. I think that's what they're saying.
I want to know the number, because if there's a number, there's a way.
Right.
We can get to that number.
Well,
it may take 30 years, but we can get to a number.
The Longhorns and the Sooners, set precedent for one way to arrive at a number. Then you have the Board of Trustees meeting in which they talk about the 120 exit fee based upon payouts.
That's no money.
Formula.
That's nothing. I mean,
correct.
Yeah.
That's just a formula. But then you also have the chairman of the board of Florida State saying we have a handle on the grant of rights. To me, that says we know what a number is. We don't want to pay all that. So we're going to try and cause enough strife so maybe we can settle down from whatever that number is. And if it could be paid out over time, then that number becomes even more feasible. You talk about a feasibility study. Do you have $3,000 for an 8K television today? Some people do. A lot of people don't. Do you have it at 0% interest over the next 36 months?
Sure do.
Sure do.
At that point, I want a 120-inch television.
Yeah.
Forget about it. What are we doing?
That's it. That's the ticket here, is when that number is arrived at.
Yeah, I just want the number.
Can you pay it out over 10 years?
I believe that is the whole thing. Like, I think they could say $1 billion. It wouldn't be $1 billion. But let's say they said the grant of rights would, to be able to get out and get your television rights back, it would be $568 million. Added to the $120 million you got to pay the ACC. If that was definitive, if that was the number, I think we'd leave like really soon, like after this year. Because you could finance that. You could do there are a lot of ways that you can work with companies to come up with that money and get on out the door.
And once you set the number, then it just becomes a negotiation at that point. Meaning the ACC. What is it, ACC office? And they tell you. You say, well, I'm not paying that, but I'll pay this. And now we're having a negotiation to get to a certain point. The only concern I would have is if you come to a number, then the bubble of cable television crashes, and it's like, well, hang on a minute. Nobody's got that kind of money now.
Yeah.
the key is that you want to be with the SEC or the Big because they're going to get the most. I wouldn't even look at the projections of revenue because I think consumer habits are going to change over the next 10 years and it might impact those payouts. But what you do know is that one of those two places is going to get the most money in the sport, period.
I would really like for this Pac-12 deal to get done, figure out a little bit more about what the Big 12 is doing. As things begin to settle or become more unsettled, either way, I want the sort of either chaos or clarity. I want one way or the other to have a direction to move in based on something we're seeing of significance in the game in terms of television rights, media rights, the money's derived from that. So you can base it on something, but we need to get there because every day that goes by, I feel like very, very quietly and behind the scenes, we're losing ground.
Let's play a fun game that a lot of people like to do. Let's play a game of deciding what to do with other people's money.
Right? Oh, I love that game.
All right. So if you were to assume that the average payout for the ACC over the next 12 years, like 12 full years, is $45-50 million, somewhere along those lines.
But the ACC,
in today's revenue, right? So that's $600 million on the upper end. So $600 million plus $120 million because that's their base exit fee is $720. That's probably too expensive at this point to just say, "Yep, we're out." Would you agree with that, or would you say that that's reasonable?
$720.
$720. I based it in actual empirical disbursements from ESPN to the ACC, and then also the revenue.
I mean, $720 is a lot of money.
Right.
That's tough.
How about $6?
Okay, we're out.
We're out?
Yeah. Right. It's monopoly money. I mean, we're sitting around here talking like, yeah, it is easier when it's, well, hell, if it's other people's money, Tom, 720 is good.
Sure.
Let's go.
I just wonder, what do you think?
At
what point does the number go from absurd to reasonable? Because that's what the exercise they have to do.
Yeah.
I
don't know, 400, 500 million?
But that's exactly the conversation they've already had. I guarantee you they've already had that. If we can get it down to 350, we're gone yesterday. If it's 450, everybody's got that point. And I'll bet you we've defined ours. It's just a matter of getting there.
Well, that's what you think he means, right?
Yeah, I think that they know what their number
You don't think Peter Collins means legally he knows how it would play out in court.
They would already have done it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they would have already done it because here's the thing. It is going to cost a lot and it's going to be protracted. It's going to take a long time in court.
Oh, no, I'm implying that they just have an answer. Here's how much it costs and we're done. The litigation, there would be blowback. The question is, how much money do I need to pay so we don't go to court and drag this thing out? And I'll bet you if that number is around, I mean, this is just me thinking out loud because the way they reacted to $120 million at the board meeting was they laughed at it.
Oh, man. When they said $120 million, I was like, wait a minute. Whoa. Is the only thing holding us back $120 million? We should have been gone yesterday. What are we doing? Let's go.
And clearly it's not.
It's not. Yeah, the grant of rights stuff. Yeah.
But they all laughed at 120. When did they stop laughing? 450?
300, 400.
Yeah, right.
400, 500. Yeah, something like that.
That's how settlements work, too. Yeah, this is how much you'd make over 15 years. How about I give you this much now? What do you think?
Let's go. Here's your percentage. Let's go. Yeah. Come back, wrap it up. Our thanks to our friends at ISF, Solving the Future. Every Thursday, that's right, we collaborate. And listen. It's too easy. ... Sorry, ISF. Jeff Cameron Show in a moment.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at ffbic.com.
This is Rusty Hunt with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me today at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem, so today it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved with community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number one, you'll never see that person again. Number two, your technician is likely to change often. And number three, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our #1 priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
This is Ken Wondergem, owner of Gem Mazda of Tallahassee, serving North Florida and South Georgia for over 20 years. And I'm happy to announce that things are finally back to normal at Gem Mazda. Our lot is loaded with brand new Mazdas for the first time in 2 years. So if you've been waiting for the price and selection of new cars to return to normal, the wait is over at Gem Mazda, where we've always provided our customers with the highest quality of service and care. You know Mazda's reputation for efficient, dependable, and affordable vehicles, but you simply must experience the luxurious new lineup of 2023 Mazdas in stock now at Gem Mazda of Tallahassee. Get adventurous and connect with nature in a brand new 23 Mazda CX-50 with all-wheel drive. But hurry in while the value of your trade is still high. At Gem Mazda, we take our slogan seriously. No games, no gimmicks, just a gem of a deal. Gem Mazda of Tallahassee, Capitol Circle Northwest, just up from West Tennessee Street, and always open at gemmazda.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
It's time for Tub Talk, brought to you by Pinch-A-Penny Pools and Spas. Buy yourself the hot tub you've always wanted at the price you've always wanted from Pinch-A-Penny on Greer Street. Now, it's live to the tub.
So there's a couple of things here as we float about, thanks to our friends at Pinch-A-Penny. Tom, you know how I sensed that the WBC was electrifying this year and that it created converts? We have people who rather enjoyed the WBC. Well, that feeling was backed up by the numbers. Viewership was up 69%.
Nice.
69% from 2017, which I thought was a great and banner year for the WBC. But combined with an audience of 5.2 million, FS1 and Fox Deportes peaked at 6.5 million viewers the other night at 10:30 p.m. Good stuff. It was awesome. They could not have asked for anything more. Shohei Ohtani striking out Mike Trout, the 2 best players in baseball facing one another, who happen to be teammates and can't win games.
That's right. And are seen by the nation for the first time ever.
And then reminded of why they should be seen more often. Can we just tell the Angels, look, your ownership has been a mess. They haven't found a way to win with the 2 best players in a generation. And oh, by the way, that means regular game times don't exist for you. You're going to play at a time that's more convenient for those on the East Coast. So if you're scheduled for 8 p.m. out west, it's going to be 5 p.m., and we're going to be able to show it to everybody on the East Coast in prime time.
Hell, how about a 7:10 Eastern first pitch? Think about it. No traffic to the ballpark for those who do go to the ballpark.
Beautiful.
Revolutionary.
And then if you want to have fun, Tom, here you go. Here's the sample of what's to come. Here you go. Little probables, Tom. Little probables.
Oh.
You can just whatever music you want since we don't want to get dinged. But if I were to have done it, like I will be next Thursday, this is how it would have read. Red Sox Pirates. Josh Winkowski, Johan Avedo. Blue Jays Twins. Yusei Kikuchi. Tyler Mahal. Tigers Phils, Joey Wentz, Bailey Falter. Mets Braves, Mike Vassell. Weird name. Kind of like it. Sounds like a cream. Jared Schuster. Yankees, Cardinals, Nestor Cortez.
Nestor?
He's there. Steven Matz for the Cards. Ugh, still in the league. D-backs, Cubs, Ryan Nelson, Hayden Wisniewski.
That's Ryan Half Nelson to you.
Giants, White Sox, Sean Manaea, Michael Kopech. Dodgers, D-backs, Michael Grove, Dre Jameson. Hey, now. I don't like Jameson, though. Royals, Padres, Brady Singer, Ryan Weathers. Jameson's very overrated. It's not good. Padres, Brewers, Jay Groom, Bryce Wilson, former Pirate, where he sucked. Tigers, Orioles, Tyler Holton.
Hey, all right.
Grayson Rodriguez goes for the Orioles. Sounds like a mid-season form guy over here. Amazing. Nats, Astros, Trevor Williams, former Pirate. Luis Garcia. Mariners, Reds, Chris Flexen. Brandon Williams. Guardians, Giants, Cal Quantrill. Anthony DeScalfini will now take the stand. Sounds like something he would have to do. Athletics, Rangers, JP Sears, and Cole Reagans. Right here in Tallahassee, as we found out last year. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We
Big
talked
Cole.
about wanting to golf with him or not.
Yeah, well, we made that mistake. His dad's listening to the show right now. Good job. I hope your son pitches great today. Come on, Cole.
Throw the bag on, Cole. Come on.
It's 9:05. We can watch him pitch tonight if we want. And that's a look at those that shall and do currently reside on the bump. See? Isn't that great? Isn't that fun? Feels good. Feels good. I like it. Can't wait. Hot dogs next Thursday, 1 week from today.
That's
Very
right.
cheap ones at that. Ice cold beer and
Well made but inexpensive hot dogs. Yeah.
and the beauty here, pie, and I'll put some cheese on it.
There you go.
A little piece of cheese on the pie.
You'll have to show it to the camera for all to see at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill next Thursday.
Next Thursday, apple pie, a little slice of slightly melted cheese over that pie. It's going to be delicious. And then on the Vegas wall, game after game after game. We'll do a live show there. It's going to be a busy day. We leave not long after that show to go to practice. And then that night, there will be the unveiling of the new show that we have.
I'd say I might stay for first pitch of the Mets Marlins game at 4:05. And then
It's the first pitch.
I got to see the first pitch.
By the way, Mets Marlins, that whole division, your division's awesome. That is a load. I think so. It's a loaded division. You don't think so?
No, that's why. I'm like, yeah, that's great.
Oh, buddy.
Great for you.
Nobody's feeling sorry for your $500 million payroll. You just buck up, soldier, and try to compete.
Look, if we could have played in the Central at any point in either league the past 10 years.
No, not the past 10 years. You can't say that. Cardinals win 100 games a year every year, buddy. It's ridiculous. It's by law. I'm so damn tired of it. Even in years where you win 98 games, they win 100.
I know that year. We swept the Cubs from the Central.
Yeah, the sorry Cubs. You did not sweep the Pirates, who won 98 games that year.
Didn't have a chance to.
No. You did not sweep the Cardinals, and you did not know. Frustrating. But, I mean, yes, nobody, again, that Miami team's fun to watch.
Then again, it's more balanced this year, so it's A-okay. I think we're playing, is it 15 games apiece against your division opponents instead of 19? I believe that's what it is now.
Yeah, and you have the this will be fun. I mean, you are going to play everybody, right? Everybody plays everybody.
Yep.
That's this year, right? They've implemented it.
That has started this year.
That's mean that really cool.
Yeah, you play everybody. It doesn't mean that everybody goes to your home ballpark.
No,
That's on an alternating basis.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see everybody in baseball on the schedule.
Well, you'll get to see Shohei Ohtani. You'll get to see Mike Trout against your team. I don't want to see him against my team because we don't have good pitching against players that aren't a third as good as Shohei Ohtani.
So I'll be at a weekend series up there in July at Citi Field. And I just want to play this game with you real quick. Because when you see the schedule and you know when you're going traveling places, and you're like, oh, who are they playing? And then you pull it up. Sometimes you go, oh, right, they're playing the blank. And sometimes you go, oh, my God, they're playing the Marlins?
Well, but right now you'd want to see the Marlins.
They're playing the Giants. How would you rate that? I think that's solid.
The Mets are playing the Giants when?
When I go up there in July. Like
Oh,
if you're
buddy,
going to Pittsburgh and it was the Giants, aside from you'd be like, all right, solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. There aren't too many teams that I get upset at.
The D-backs?
I don't want to see the D-backs. That's probably number one on the list. Like, oh, you're playing the D-backs. Well, they don't even have Paul Goldschmidt anymore. I don't want to watch them. Peace.